Welcome back, I'm Chrissy, and in this video I'm going to show you how I designed some characters for my pixel adventure game The Lost Hotel. First, I worked out the character traits. I used a template that included their name, pronoun, appearance, friends, length of stay at the hotel, background, weaknesses, desires, wishes, enemies, secrets, possible rumors about them, passions, and their daily routine. This may sound like a lot, but if you write everything down consistently, you'll end up with a well-plotted NPC and everything else will develop almost on its own. For example, how they react to certain events or what they would say in a conversation. To make them all unique and interesting, I focused especially on weaknesses and desires, so they would not be repeated. After I was done with one character, I started thinking about the next one. If I was about to pack too much information into one character, I divided the traits among another character. In doing so, I made sure that I didn't end up with too many characters, but also not too few. I didn't want the players to think it would be an endless task to socialize with each one of them, but I also didn't want them to get bored and lonely from a severely limited number of NPCs. I mean, you're in a hotel spaceship. When you look out the window, there's nothing but darkness and stars. You can't just go out and meet other people or aliens. Most of the characters are available from the beginning of the game. Let's call them primary characters. Some of them will reveal themselves during the game. Let's call them secondary characters. In this way, the primary characters grow closer with the player, like becoming a family or a group of friends, while new secondary characters have yet to prove themselves. Also, the players won't constantly be the new kid in town, which might make them feel like outsiders from time to time. After writing, I began to flesh out their relationships with each other and how they would develop over the course of the game with a little help from the players. As you may know from pixel games like Stardew Valley or Pokemon, the characters can look quite similar to each other with just some little differences in their size. I wanted to make sure that each of my characters had a unique look. After working out their character sheets containing little to rough information about their appearance, I started working on the silhouettes to make sure they were different from each other. I used a template with 64 pixels height and 32 pixels width. This way they are limited to a certain size that I wanted to achieve in order to bring doors, stairs, beds, chairs and so on to a standard size that they all fit on. After the silhouettes were ready, I designed their bodies, faces and hair. Just imagine that they aren't naked but wearing full bodysuits. I made them stand in a neutral position from which I can easily work out movements and signature poses later. The next step is the most fun for me. Time for colors and clothes. I also tried to make them unique so that everyone stands for themselves. I chose colors based on a skin tone template and on a color wheel, trying mostly complementary and triad colors, but also playing around with the other settings. I ended up with a pretty colorful bunch of unique characters. To improve accessibility, you can upload your characters into a colorblind simulator to see if they are still easy enough for colorblind people to see. I think I did a good job finding enough contrast and shapes. I also posted my characters on Reddit to get valuable feedback from potential players and made adjustments according to this feedback. Pro tip: be sure to include the target audience from the beginning and throughout the whole development process. This is an important lesson of the human-centered design approach often used in iterative software development processes. I'm not sure yet if I want to use profile pictures of the characters for the dialogue system, but I've also been working on some different facial expressions to capture the character and use them as templates. The style is inspired by Disney and Pixar. I also like the anime-inspired character profiles, but I'm a little tired of seeing too much of them already. I don't really know if profile pictures in dialogues are necessary or if I should give my characters more movement and expression instead. Some games do it one way, others do it another way. I still need to think about that, especially if it affects the gameplay experience. This requires involving the potential audience and testing usability and necessity. There are still a few secondary characters I need to design, but they would give away too much of the story, so maybe I'll keep them secret or reveal only parts of them when they're done. Alright, now I'd like to introduce you to my primary characters without chatting in between, so sit back and enjoy.